I hereby
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Honorable nominee, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Okletey Terlabi. I come from Udumasi Krobo. I was born in the year 1963. Went to school. I went to University of Ghana, did my first degree, and then to the University of Science and Technology for my master's. And then I followed up with work as a research officer with the Center for Scientific Research to Plant Medicine. Then later on joined the University of Science and Technology as a lecturer till 9th, and that is what has brought me here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, if I have a subject matter...
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the nominee, who happens to be my in-law. I think today is a day of in-laws. Having been a deputy minister before, would have been made a substantive minister this time. But it's rather unfortunate, but I still have him in mind. Exactly. Mr. Nominee, my first question has to do with the threat facing this country in terms of, and we know how these terrorists operate. As a deputy minister nominee, what do you bring to the table?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for this opportunity. And to say that when the issue of our borders come up, seriousness, because when you come to West Africa, our borders are very peculiar. The fact is that when you go to the Volta region, there are people who sleep in Ghana but work in Togo. Some of them have their farms across. And I remember I had the opportunity to be part of a program where some of our development partners were recommending some form of restrictions along our borders. Difficult, but as I said, it is very important, and that for us to really take care of our borders, there must be some serious, collaboration with our brothers and sisters across the borders, and I think that is the only way for now, because it is very expensive when you look at the recommendations that were given by those development partners. It is very important. It is very expensive to raise the kind of bar so that we can get intelligence from, their end, so that we prepare against any, attacks, if you put it that way. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up question. I agree with you that it is very expensive to deal with the issues pertaining to our borders, which of course are porous. But here we have a nation to protect. We have expensive nature of securing our borders to go into securing that which is very important.
I think that as a deputy minister, I would have to really listen and work, if I wouldn't say to the dictates of my boss, But then, appropriately, when it believes that deploying those equipments will be a priority, I will support it with what experience I have. If he also believes in the kind of what I recommended earlier on, collaborating and getting intelligence from our colleagues, our brothers and sisters across the borders, that I would also put in what I think would help in bringing that, on board. Thank you.
Funding of feeding our prisoners. It is said that every prisoner is fed on 1 cedi 80 pesos a day, which is basically, obviously inadequate. As a deputy minister, what do you bring to the table to assist your minister to deal with this problem?
Thank you, Chair. I listened to something to the effect that, but for agriculture in the prisons, would have had serious insurrection because there was no way they were going to get enough food to feed the prisoners. I think that they are establishing prison camps where agriculture, will be practiced for them to produce food and other things to get money and food to support the upkeep of the prisoners. Thank you.
Your minister to go into commercial farming by prisoners, to, as it were, to look at other areas, not just restricting yourself to just farming to feed our prisoners?
Thank you very much. Certainly, I believe that whatever they produce, if you really want to take care of prisoners, and depending on where they find themselves, example, Akusi. If you have a place like Akusi where prisoners go into farming, they can go into rice farming, but I don't think that they can feed on only rice. So to cater for other things, they might have to sell. Yes, I will support my minister to do that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my final question. A visit to many of our barracks, especially in the bigger towns such as Accra, Kumasi. In the case of Accra, let me use Central Police Station as an example. You go, in most cases, you see officers having a lot of their items, i.e. fridge and other things, being kept out or outside their rooms. As a deputy minister, would you, if it so happens, advise your minister to look at redeveloping these strategic places, first of all, to provide more accommodation for our officers, and secondly, decent accommodation?
I am certainly going to support my boss to look for decent accommodation for our officers. And going through their books, there's evidence that they are taking advantage of the fact that they are now sitting on some prime lands. And in collaboration with the private sector, they are getting some infrastructure built outside. And then in exchange for some prime lands, in the city center. And I think that is about time that happens on a larger scale. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Well, I wish you well.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think I'll now move to Honorable Reverend Intimfojo. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Congratulations, Honorable Terlabi, on your nomination as the Deputy Minister for the Interior. 6 years, 2 of which is in record as Deputy Minister for Defense. With this background, coming into the office as Deputy Minister for the Interior, what specific reforms would you forcefully suggest to your minister in the quest to improving the sector?
Thank you very much. To be honest with you, looking at Ministry of Defense, as they are all supposed to provide security their area of, jurisdiction is different, and therefore, whatever tactics or whatever program they deploy may vary a little. But I believe that there are a few things that I think that when we introduce into these other services a similar vetting. And I told the panel that I went round, the military institutions and their installations. And one thing remarkable that I saw was an inscription that if you fear maintenance, try accident. I think that concept is what drives the military in terms of what they need to, their sustenance, in terms of what they need to protect this country. They will go at all length to make sure that you provide whatever they need with some justification. And I think that...
Honorable Chair, to the nominee, Alteza Travel is one renowned global tourism organization.
Just a second, Reverend. Is this your second question? Yes. Thank you.
Including many other organizations who have done global rankings, in 2025, they ranked Ghana as the second safest place in Africa. And even globally, they ranked Ghana as safer ahead of Australia and Canada. What would you suggest, or what would you rather improve, sustained, and that we do not get into declining state of insecurity?
To think about it, you realize that there's still room for some improvement. And if I listened to my boss, to be, he made some, recommendations in terms of, deploying technology where it is lacking for policing and other, services under the Ministry of Interior, so they can discharge their duties creditably and then bring more, safety, into our country, so we can continue to get the kind of ratings that we are having now.
Dr. Akufo-Dampare, the IGP of this country.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish I could tell you, but I'm a deputy minister to be, and I am even not yet there. I've not even had the opportunity to sit in any meeting. It's for the president to decide. Thank you.
A follow-up to this. Given the sterling leadership record of the IGP within the period of his tenure and the reforms he has brought to improving the police service, would you advise that in line with maintaining the security sector governance integrity and to promote professionalism, that he is maintained to full term to continue the good work he's doing for Mother Ghana?
But I don't have. And the appointing authority may be looking at other things other than what you think. Sometimes you think you are doing your best as a football player, but your coach will substitute you. What he sees outside, sitting on the bench, is different from what is happening on the field. What you see on the field. So let us...
Deputy Minister nominee, I wish you Godspeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I will come to my right and take two on if there is a subject matter or any other. But I'll start with a subject matter if there is one. Otherwise, I think
Can I start with yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's start with the Honorable. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. 2 weeks ago, I had a fire outbreak in my constituency, and to get the NADMO to come to our aid was very difficult. And I had to, make ways and means to get relief items to the people. How are you going to support the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, for improving disaster response? Quick response, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We require funding for such operations. And I believe that my boss, as he said here, has some very good working relationship with the finance minister, and therefore would always be at his door if he gives me the opportunity to do follow-ups for him. I'm going to do that to get finance to support us. We know we are in difficult times, but will help. A constant reminder would help in prioritizing some of our institutions that are very important when it comes to maintenance of our, peace, security, and safety in this country's concern. Thank you.
Are you done, Honorable?
Last one. Prisons. It's a very big issue, but to solve this issue.
Thank you very much. Once again, I will make reference to what my boss said. My boss to be said over here. But then I'm living with one in my constituency. My friends that I went with, some of them were in tears. Because, the place that any of us can be at any time. And therefore, we need to be reminded that they are there. And they also need to, live. And you don't take good care of the person. They come out with, various diseases here and there, skin rashes, whatever. They don't even, when they come out, that is one of the reasons why people will not want to associate with them. To build prisons so that we can rent, like it's happening in the US and other places. We would have to look at that. The other thing too is that some of the prisons in what would be described as prime, better, bigger places outside where you can get cheaper land. Because I don't think that, they can be relocated so that we can make use of that. But I think that one will also require serious, discussions. And we'll look at the cost benefits, how it's going to benefit them before we go into it. Thank you very much.
Came out with the way to use the prisons in farming. Will you want to adopt such? I was thinking that the food shortage in our secondary schools, if you can have in the future children, do you have any plans of that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that this is in line with the previous question about whether I will support the prisons going to commercial farming. I think that they cannot be, hired to by the private sector. That can also be done. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to move on to the next subject matter again on the right. Thank you.
Thank you
for your nomination. I have worked closely with you in the committee, and I know your capacity. I know what you are capable of bringing on board. I wish you well in your new ministry. And I just have one question for you. There's a worrying trend that I have observed among security apparatus. The national security on one hand, army, then police. Sometimes it's at the glimpse of the public. What steps to be able to...
Honorable, please step away from the mic, to stop the echo.
All right. So what steps will you take to support your substantive minister to bring a lasting solution to this menace that I have just narrated? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that, well, it's the security services are human institutions, and sometimes they can go overboard. But then, I believe that there must be that level of respect for each other, and it will come by constant interaction. I don't know whether we still have the CISA sports that we used to have in the years by, where the security services, engage themselves in various sports activities. I don't know whether it is still. Sometimes that can also bring some misunderstanding, which will lead to. When we do that, coupled with serious collaboration, they will see themselves as colleagues with the same,
I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I think I will again return back to the left, and I will call on Honorable Damwa. Take the floor. Thank you.
Honorable, once again, I want to add my voice to congratulate you on your appointment.
Thank you.
I also want to assure you that you're also my in-law. My sister that I followed 3 was married to a Krobo man from Somenya. So I've actually... Honorable, I'm also happy that you worked as a Deputy Minister for Defense and therefore now going to the Interior Ministry and Minister of Interior, especially between the military and the police in internal security operations. With all due respect, how would you advise your minister or help your minister to define clearly the military supporting the police in internal security operations so that we won't have frictions and overlaps?
Thank you very much. I think that what we can do, as I said, is some form of collaboration. And each person, they must be invited to be part of whatever operations that the police is undertaking. If that is understood, we will not have any issues when it comes to, the extent to which they can take part in internal security issues. I think that's very clear.
On that, I believe the standard operating procedures are clear, that the police are in charge of internal security and that the military will only come in support of civil authority and order. But we have that challenge. When the normal procedure is there, but then how to assess and know at what critical moment the military should be challenging. They easily to handle the situation. And based on the training that the military has, and then what they police. So we have that friction, and then it turns out to be something. So that's why I was saying that how to really get the two, whatever we do, is to benefit. We really appreciate what we do rather than the friction and the excesses that occasionally we see in their operations.
Thank you very much. I believe that through, as I said, some form of collaboration, we'll get to share intelligence from each side. If the police is aware of what the military, the same thing also knows what the police, operations and whatever their modus operandi, everything is known to the military. When they are invited, they will not be surprised. They would really appreciate and know that they are in to complement, not to take over. And I think that that is the way to go. Thank you.
There's an issue about capacity building in the security institutions under the Ministry of Interior. We have the basic training. Then within the basic training, we have B3, B2, B1, and then we go for the advanced training. And then with the infantry, they go for section commanders training, platoon sergeants training, weapons training, drill. And my colleagues in the Ministry of Interior, it appears they don't have well-defined capacity building. They need to really let him be comfortable. So when you get a note, the police and the other security services, this is an area of concern. What will you do to ensure that they also have similar arrangements by way of capacity building?
This is one of my experiences, Ministry of Interior. As I do my work as a deputy minister, when the need arises for me to prefer some of these, programs to my boss, I will do that. It's to him, and if he finds them necessary, we take them on board with my support. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my final question. Earlier on, Honorable, you talked about the fact that people in Togo, we have similar situation along the western frontier. I come from a border town. Kwame Sekrom is right on the border between and make our farms, bring foodstuff, and even in some cases, we have cash crops. Currently, we have a challenge there, especially in my constituency. I know from Doma up to my area up to Germanov. And previously, when you go and you are coming back, they restrict the food items. For instance, if it is a plantain, they determine what they think, not telling them to be commercial. And they are refusing to allow people to bring the cassava, plantain, yams, maize, which previously there were no restrictions on the quantities. After cashew, now it's a no-go area, even though people farm cashew plantations in La Côte d'Ivoire because they are Ghanaians owning the land. They know we are the same people. It's just the minister, if you get the note, so that some urgent measures or engagements with our Ivorian counterparts will take place so that our farmers resident in Ghana but farming in La Côte d'Ivoire who are being harassed by the Ivorian security personnel, they will understand that probably because we had been come to Ghana with the quantities that they were previously bringing without any hindrances.
Honorable, I think your question.
Thank you. I will do so. Thank you.
A follow-up question.
All right. So this is your last question.
This is my last question.
All right. And please make it short.
What levels, the strength of the various security services under your ministry? I know they have challenges. Any plans to help bring up their levels to appreciable levels so that they can deal with the challenges that confront them? It's for all of them.
Thank you very much. I think that we all know, Mr. Chairman, that as a policy of government, all government across, you require some clearance before you employ. And therefore, we will talk to, my boss to be says something similar to the effect that he will make sure he gets the Minister of Finance to understand the situation we find ourselves, especially that we want to expand and increase productivity. I don't want to go into 24-hour economy, but we will require security, and therefore people would have to feel safe in the night, and we need to increase, manpower insofar as our security is concerned. So would have to bring all that, on board. Let all of us understand. And I believe that I will support my boss to make serious input into, going forward, budgetary allocations and whatever, so that we can get money to pay them. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate my acquaintance in advance. I'm sure he will do very well in his next appointment. Congratulations.
And please, let's make our questions straight.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm grateful. Honorable Father. Mr. Nominee and my good friend, congratulations regarding the proliferation of small arms. And my question is regarding whether you will have the minister to change the regime, the licensing regime of the small arms. Have a license, you can carry gun, but the guns we have in the system is amazing. I've just returned from my constituency where some conflict broke out. Change the laws about licensing, and also try to decentralize the licensing so that people within far places like Zabzugu district will not need to travel to Tamale, which is the regional capital, to get licenses or pay for their annual subscription. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rightly so, I am going to support my boss in whichever way to help in taking care of.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The second question is about barriers by immigration. When you start the journey from Tale to Tamale, or you are traveling on Quarterly Road, and sometimes the salami, I don't want to tell you the details. I want you to assess, supposed to be doing vehicle or motorbike searching, but they do. And they also several things. It's amazing. Thank you.
Do their operations based on intelligence. But that is not to say that some of them do not, I mean, sometimes they don't go wayward. But we would examine the situation and advise appropriately. But as you said, it is true. Sometimes when you come to Parliament and you sit throughout the night till about, let's say, 11, 12, I live in Odumasi Krobo, and I drive along the mountains through Somanya to my place. You go through 37, through airport to Medina. When you get out of Adenta, just when you think you have some, as a result of the number of vehicles, but police have mounted barriers, one at Oyarifa, another one at Oibi. When you climb them, you get to Obusman, there's another one. When you get to Latte Junction, there's another one. Sometimes it can be frustrating. But then they come out based on the kind of intelligence that they have. So we would look at all that and advise appropriately. Thank you very much.
I wish you well.
Thank you. Honorable Patrick Bama, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations, former ranking Environment Committee member. My first question is on naturalization. Naturalization. And if you look at the website of your ministry, it has the photograph of your minister, the president and vice president, your acting chief director. But let me read this to you. subject to subsection 2 of 14 of the Citizenship Act of Ghana 2000, a person qualifies for naturalization if, it's very important, I want Roxanne to listen, B, during the 7 years immediately preceding the period of 12 months, he has resided in Ghana for periods amounting in the aggregate to not less than 5 years. He is of good character as attested in writing by 2 Ghanaians, being notary public lawyers or senior public servant. He has not been sentenced to any period of imprisonment in Ghana. He is able to speak and understand an indigenous Ghanaian language. Roxanne. He is a person who has made or who is capable of making a substantial contribution to the progress or advancement in any area of national activity. He is a person who has died permanently in Ghana in the event of a certificate being granted him. He possessed a valid resident permit on the date of his application. Time frame for the application, 6 months. Fees and charges, Form 5, 7,758 Ghana cedis. A lot of applications will be coming to you. Without scrutiny, a lot of people will get naturalized as Ghanaians. And some, very important. By so doing, you would have opened the country up for insecurity. Who brings any application for naturalization satisfies these.
My minister decides to get me involved. You have just given us a checklist. I can assure you that I am going to be very meticulous when it comes to looking at such requirements. And where I need to seek legal advice, I will, to support, in taking very good decisions about who becomes a citizen of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. My second question is on the health facilities of the institutions under the Ministry of Interior. I stand to be corrected. I think with their numbers, we need serious health facilities to support proffering to your boss so that you...
Thank you very much. I think that it came up, this issue, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This issue came up, during my boss's interview. And he made it clear that apart from police hospital, prisons and fire do not have health facilities. And I believe that I will keep, him on his toes, remind him as and when the opportunity comes. We'll make sure that the funds to get those things, health facilities established, will do so. Because of the lack of, health facilities in these prisons, they have to resort to taking bills. Aside that, here they don't even have vehicles to carry the prisoners to these hospitals. So the prison officers themselves would have to hire taxis and things like that. In fact, there's a lot that we have to do for the prison service. And I think that putting our shoulders to the wheel, we will be able to improve the lot of the prison service and the other services. Thank you.
Chairman, my last question is on private security companies, their licensing, their registration, licensing, and also the licensing of bullion vans, weapons and bullets, gunpowder, and what have you, are some of the things that I believe are in ensuring that some of these licenses are given to responsible people to operate. For you, Chrome, in Kumasi. We know you. Yeah. You don't have.
Thank you very much. I'm going to do my best to get some of these things to support my boss in the ministry. In fact, he was the MPP chairman. We found ourselves on the...
Chairman, let me thank you so much for the opportunity. In many areas, including accommodation, lease service, most of the district capitals, you will find so many police personnel. So the first thing is, if you're arrived to the second bit, that still has to do with accommodation. Most of the new districts, including mine, created about some 12 years ago, still don't have itself, let alone accommodation for, virtually like tenants in the community. I know familiarity sometimes breeds contempt. And so once they are with a community, I would want to suggest if you take that on board in, as you support your minister, to look at the, given that you make adequate accommodation facility for them. That's my first bit that I want to. So the second one has to do with the military barracks. District is proud to be hosting one of your barracks. That's in Daboya. I think, but it still falls short of the basic requirements and facilities that you really need to do proper training. Military and security training has become technical now, not the physical we knew many years ago. That's just how that across.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, did you say military? I think the defense minister was here to answer a lot of questions on that. If I veer into that, oh, you are the police here. Thank you very much. I think that yes, indeed, there are modern ways of policing, and it requires the deployment of technology. I was reading a text just a few hours before I came in, and there's this suggestion that grounds or schools, can be changed because the world is evolving. AI, a lot of things are being deployed now. Enhance training of our.
On that note, I wouldn't ask questions about your capability. I know you've done it before, and I wish you all the best in your next.
I will now invite the Chief Whip to come in.
My brother, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
When I entered this house in January 2017, you were one of the seniors who, and I have no doubt that you will succeed. Now, I have two concerns, and I believe you share one. Between Ashaman Runabout and Skuma, 85 kilometers, we have over 15 police school military barriers. These police barriers and military checkpoints. So you can see the difficulties this poses for our average Ghanaian. Sometimes we have to fight practically with the security men. And now immigration barrier. You negotiate the Boss Farm tanks. You have 2 barriers actually. Now there's even a notice of a national security barrier. Before you enter Joapon, there are 2 barriers, military and police. Abuasa, you have police barriers. Apegusu, you have Frankedia. And then the customs barrier. Now, I haven't mentioned the Afiena Shire Hills ones through Pong. So, what will you do as the deputy to the Honorable Muntaka that these barriers are removed? It appears that those of us from the eastern frontier, we are profiled. We are so profiled that when you are it's as if you are entering another republic. The immigration officers removing these barriers. So my constituency in Peki, Kpalik, Peve, Tongo, and Sanga can move freely within the frontiers of the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think I just, narrated my experience on the Akuapem Mountains and the number of barriers. I think that we need to assess the situation. Let me give you my personal experience. The reason sometimes I think that we need to be very careful when we are dealing with some of these barriers. 2013, I came to Parliament. We closed around 1 a.m. On my way back, the police, I think I saw about 3 barriers. So did I know that there were armed robbers, if you know Obusumasi. The police who stopped me did not even know that some vehicle came and they repaired. Yes, that's right. So sometimes we need to assess the situation. I am not saying that some of them are not wayward. Some of them, to my boss, will be that let's get the police command to do a proper assessment of the areas and where we think that will serve as another problem for us, because people will feed on it. The criminals are always around. And I believe that their presence sometimes also wards off. In spite of, apart from what they do to, road users, their presence gives us some confidence as we drive in the night, especially those of us who drive in the night. So I think we need to really do proper assessment before we get them out of the road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, my final concern. My constituency, South Dine, the security services. I can give a tall list of them. But training institutions for these security services are being built in a lot of places. Will you consider building one in my constituency in South Dine?
Thank you. Ghanaian police, if that is the consideration, that is on a lighter side. But I think that we need to look at we need to look at your request case by case, and depending on the availability of funds to build. And I just said something, brick and tile, the security in an area.
Very much. Clarify this matter that my brother Mahama Shaibu, his heart, yes, Chairman. So they should take note. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Honorable Patricia, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You and I go a very far. And I was wondering whether I didn't serve on the Lands and Forestry Committee with you. That,
But it's one committee that I never said.
yes, I wasn't too sure about that. But, Honorable, let's go to your CV. Your CV. Honorable, I observed that within a period of portfolios, what was the cause for that? Between the year 20 in all, you were serving in the capacity of a deputy minister.
Yes.
You are still the deputy minister. What was the reason for that?
I'm a sportsman and a footballer. And I remember there was a time I always keep you as the number 3. When you are there, I am confident that the 9 will always score. I'm there, the minister will perform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Another observation on your CV, that's page number 3. Service, or you served at a period.
CV.
Should I seek the leave of the chair to include the period?
Yes.
So for page 4.2, the same thing on item, I don't know, Vice Chairman, NDC, or for recruitment. Are you still the Vice Chairman? You were. Yes.
I was.
So it's important that
Yes.
you serve us with it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, you are seeking your leave?
Yeah, leave them.
Okay,
So-
thank you. Honorable Terlabi, form,
Thank you very
creditable.
much. Thank you.
Are
Very
they assigned position that you, an affirmative action bill, act that is in place now? And it's not just going to be placed on the table, and we need action on that. And no recruitment into the police service, fire service, and all that. You've done very well in recruiting so many women, but you have still not achieved the required percentage of 30%. So how are you going to assist your minister to ensure that, because this one is a compelling one, it's not something that you can postpone to another day? So may I know?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the military, some few years ago, undertook a program to encourage the youth or to demystify what they do at their various. A lot of women got interested in becoming Navy, military, police, whatever. I think that I would, advise same for the Ghana police, with especially the communities where they have their training institutions. Interact with the communities, get them encouraged, and let them understand that whoever is in uniform is a civilian, and they can be, like them. I think this is a way, to get our women, to get interest in some of these services, and what they see from afar influences their decision. But when they get close, they realize they can get involved. So, Mr. Chair, I think that this is my suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. I don't think I totally agree with you. I partially agree with you that we need to create the awareness, we need to educate. But there's a bit of the sector also making the effort to ensure that you attain the figure 30% as an initial need. So it is you as a deputy minister and your minister who are responsible to ensure that. But, there are so many people who apply for these positions, especially with the recruits and all that, but yet only few take it.
A lot of people are, brought on board, but along the line, yes, we want to encourage them. We must also make sure they take good care of themselves, so that during the process, they are not found wanting in terms of their health, so that they can easily be taken on board. Thank you.
Traces of biases in this respect. Thank you.
No. It's the case. It is. Yes. In fact, I was part of, the committee that shepherded this lie on Nene. We'll make sure we bring it on board. And as I said, much as we would want to meet the levels that we set for ourselves, whoever is recruited must also be able to stand the test of time. Otherwise, you go and, the consequences are dire. If you have a certain medical condition and they put you to go and swim, and you go and don't come back. That's
Honorable Adi, follow up.
All right, thank you. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I just want to make a follow-up on my sister's question on the 30%. We are all fully aware that you are the minister, and it's a policy, and we have the law now backing it. It's not an issue of medical or non-medical, because we have the women there, we have the girls there, but you cannot get the women. So I want to ask, will you, Control says that you must get 30%, and that we need that 30%. Thank you.
You may continue.
Thank you very much. Honorable nominee, in my constituency, the police in the district, vehicles to perform their duties creditably. As an assembly, we were able to allocate them with some. I personally had to give them motorbikes to also do their work. But I don't know, how are you going to support your minister to ensure that for the police to operate creditably or be able to perform their duties to the satisfaction of the citizens, these vehicles must be available to them to work? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, you see these documents before me here. These are briefings. It cuts across. Said we would have to really talk to the finance minister with the support of the president, and I believe that we'll be able to get for them to discharge their duties creditably. Thank you very much.
And finally, Honorable, and as a deputy minister, I know you are not developing the policies. The laws are there, the right policies are there. How will you ensure the strengthening of the anti-human trafficking laws and ensure better victim support service for them?
If I'm given the opportunity to manage that, I'll make sure that I sit with the various institutions that are involved and make sure that we work towards achieving a reduction, if not eliminating, child trafficking in this country of us. Thank you very much.
Right. Does it mean the area should be left unattended?
Certainly, if I'm not giving, somebody else will be giving that.
Pardon?
If I am not giving, somebody else will be giving that duty, solutions to whatever the person may be working on.
Honorable nominee, so far as I'm concerned, you are the only deputy available to support the minister. There's no other deputy. I don't think I prefer to hear that if you're not given the opportunity. There should be a way to communicate with your minister to get things done. That's what I expect from you.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I will play my part, that business in our society. Thank you very much.
I'm done, Mr. Chair. Congratulations in advance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jerry, I will wrap it up. So you are basically standing between us and the next nominee. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, congratulations to you.
Thank you, my brother.
I see that you are a married man, but do you have any reasons why? Honorable nominee, are you stingy?
What do you understand by being stingy?
As in somebody...
Honorable, you are out of order. Can you please withdraw that word? It's unparliamentary.
Very well, very well, very well. Most guided, Mr. Chair. Honorable nominee, in 2019, there was an issue in your constituency. I think you should become, let me finish with my question. That had to do with prepaid meters. And you promised your constituents that you were going to ensure that the prepaid meters would not be used when you are voted for. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was there a shooting incident when the ECG officers decided to come and install prepaid meters in your constituency?
Yes, there was.
So I'm asking, what role did you play? Did you in any way or form say to your people you would find a way of resolving the matter for them not to use prepaid meters subsequently?
Thank you very much. Must be very well understood.
Hold on, yeah. Honorable nominee.
Yeah.
Let me just give the floor to Honorable Chair.
Came to Parliament, and Parliament gave some directives. An ad hoc committee was constituted to go to the constituency to inquire into the matter and brought a report. Subsequently, I recall the honorable member returned to the House in a follow-up question directed at the minister and complained that some directives given by Parliament were not being implemented. If the honorable member may be guided in shaping his question, and I believe it can be properly situated, because it was a matter that engaged Parliament and Parliament stepped in.
Well, thank you for the guidance, but I'm sure you could have said the same thing. I do not think that I was asking the question out of any mischief. It's just for him to clear, because I've had questions from some of your constituents asking me. So that's the basis for the question. What's the scientific name for prekese?
Tetrapura.
Pardon me?
Tetrapura.
So what as a biochemist, what are the benefits of prekese?
Thank you very much. I'm sure, serious. In fact, it is a fruit that I worked on extensively as a researcher. It has a lot of active principles, medicinal, that, depending on your situation, can be good for your health, for hypertension, for other, ailments. The others, including
Honorable nominee.
Hello.
That's not what you are being vetted on today. So if you can just make it short so we can make progress.
Honorable Chair, I just respectfully need to remind Honorable Chair that I am doing this as the ranking. In fact, I was going to link it to some other matters, and that is the more reason why I asked. So please, with all due deference.
Thank you. What I'm saying is that it is good for color and the flavor. So precursor also gives flavor to food.
Is it so? Up until today, I didn't even know it is a fruit. So I expect that. No. I thought I heard you earlier saying that it is a fruit. Yes, and I'm saying I did not know. So now I want to find out. As Deputy Minister, is it one of the recommendations you make to your minister that police officers, fire officers, immigration officers?
Honorable Leader, you are out of order.
I do not respect something that is a food that has medicinal value. Is it something you would want to propose to the security services to adopt? My interest would be to your office. Would you want to propose that to your minister, that it is okay for security officers or security agencies to? It's yes or no, really?
Thank you very much. The security services have physicians, medical officers, and whatever that.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you emphasized on that. At least Chairman heard that it can be used as food supplement. And have you heard?
Yes.
So you know where it is situated? The one at Ridge. Do you, in your contemplation, still think that it's a better place to still have a prison?
Talking about location or the fact that we have juvenile homes?
I'm talking about the location.
The location. In fact, that the security services, some of them, are seated on prime lands. And they don't necessarily have to be in the heart of the city. And the fact that they lack certain facilities and we don't have enough money to build for them now, we can, in exchange for better facilities outside the Accra, we can give that land to the private sector so they develop, facilities on cheaper lands for them. So.
You are older than your minister. Are you going to provide him with the necessary support and not think that because you are older, he cannot respectfully give you instructions when he has to?
Age is a number. And Honorable Mutaka and my good self have worked together. We met in Parliament. So there is that mutual respect between the two of us.
I want to find out, do you insurance for police officers, all the security agencies?
If I get the opportunity, I'll suggest. If my boss brings that up to, I'll join in the discussion to see how far we can get that to the police service. Thank you.
But the moment you are given approval by this house, that is an opportunity. Is there an assurance you will take it up?
Yes.
Do you also think?
Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee service, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Immigration Service. In respect of insurance policy for the personnel, if the statute does not permit that, you cannot introduce it by policy. You agree?
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
And therefore, if you want to consider that, you may have to come by amendments to the existing legislations.
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
I thank you.
All right, you may go ahead, Honorable.
Do you know or not whether security officers or those under the Ministry of Interior have anything with reference to risk allowances?
I don't know.
Would you want to find out, and if it is not there, that would be one of the suggestions you make to the Honorable Minister? Because as you are aware, for instance, fire service, they go trying to quench fire, as in the police service. So I know some of the operatives in the Greater Accra office, they do all manner of night duties and dawn duties, and people are even shot and all of that. So if they do not have any risk allowance, how are they protected? What is the excitement in even going out to go and... There is also another, what I mean by people is the security agency conflict, but some of the reports we had are indicative of some allegations, including women being harassed, including shops being closed and asking the women to bring food. How are you going to advise your Honorable Minister to deal with some of these issues?
What I know is that when the security is deployed to such areas, they are supposed to go and provide security for the people. As to asking for food and other things, I don't know, because it takes to keep them, there. So going for food, in fact, I've not, well, if I get to the ministry, we'll find out.
How much a prisoner feeds a day?
When I listened to my boss when he was interviewed, he said 1 cedi.
Going to recommend that it should be 10 cedis or 15 cedis?
No.
Are you going to recommend an increment
Certainly,
to your boss?
Certainly. Once you recognize that it is not adequate, it means there must be some improvement.
Have you considered using other people in cells for labor rather than just those in prisons? Is there something you... So we have had people in cells for more than 2 days, for more than 40 days, for more than, in some instances.
I think that, I don't know whether you are referring to remand prisons or, because the remand prisoners have not been convicted. You are not even sure of their status when it comes to, the prisons. But where they are convicted and they are sentenced, yes. If they are, yes, they can be deployed.
Honorable Chief.
Let me come in. Mr. Nominee, you are aware that merely being in cells does not make you a prisoner. You are aware? Because we have all been in cells before, even as MPs.
Which cell?
Yes, it's a cell. It's a form of a cell. Your movement has been limited. Now, so you are not a prisoner. Now, even where you are a prisoner, you can only be deployed under to undertake certain works on behalf of the states under certain conditions. You are aware?
Yes. Yes.
So if you are going to roll out a policy, a wholesome policy to cover all prisoners to be deployed into some form of work on behalf of the state, it means you must come back to Parliament with an amendment to the law establishing the Ghana Prison Service.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think that the idea is to just go into wholesale deployment of prisons. This is building work camps. And these are, the camps are going to be inhabited by the prisoners. And the activities, they're purely agriculture. They give them land as prisoners. They work on the land, they produce. And as I indicated earlier, when they produce in excess, they will sell, to people outside the prison confines. They feed themselves with some. So I don't think that, be convicted of. No. They have a way of assessing them and deploy them.
Where prisoners, prison terms are reviewed downwards, would you consider introducing such a policy?
That wouldn't be a bad, policy.
I thank you. I thank you.
Yeah, please continue.
Honorable nominee, are you aware of the terminology ghettos?
No.
It's a terminology used for young men and women who have converged at a particular place that they normally have some sort of fun, including
Okay. Yes, I'm aware of young men living in cells and having fun, as you said. But I know they exist. But I believe that there's some data can be built on that. Thank you.
Oh, these are young men who sometimes have no work to do, and the perception or the allegation is that they normally get involved in all manner of crimes. And I just want to find out from you, as the Deputy Minister of Interior, if at all you may have plans of and where they find themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you've answered the question. You said they are jobless who abandon, those places and get themselves, thank you.
Honorable nominee, in the context of national security positions,
can you clarify which of the positions? Because when you take the Constitution, if it is appointment, the police, we have those that are appointed by the president, those that are appointed by the police council, and then the management itself. So whichever.
So in recent times, I saw a National Director of Operations, National Security. So it's at the back of this, I'm asking this particular question.
So what is your question?
So let me ask the question again. In the context of national security, how do you address concerns about political influence over key security positions that may or that might affect the integrity of law enforcement and intelligence?
If I understand his question. Political influence in key appointments. Is that what? National security. But national security doesn't fall under Ministry of Interior. I think it's under the office of the president. It's under the office of the president now. So whoever is appointed, and the Constitution gives the president the authority, the power to appoint.
I'm sure you are aware of the Gaming Commission. How is your ministry going to liaise with the Gaming Commission to, as it were, within the laws, within the confines of the laws?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know about the Gaming Commission, but I'm not too conversant. But when I get to the ministry, given opportunity, I will look at the operations, and I'm sure we have, and based on whatever advice they will give, or whatever they will tell us about their problems with Gaming Commission, we would look at it and, advise accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jerry. Mr. Nominee.
Mr. Chairman.
Vmate.
Sharp.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to draw your attention to your tax clearance certificate that I have here. In 2024,
yes,
there is a 47,056.66, which is a credit and a debit. It doesn't look right.
Mr. Chairman, what I sought to do was to send a request. They brought this. I have not really looked at it. And thank you very much for drawing my attention, because I don't have that professional eye, when it comes to taxes.
Take a look at it, and I grant you, the leave to get it corrected if the need be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And, now I want to go to the loved ones who came to support you, and and just acknowledge them. John Mate, who's a lower Menya constituency chairman. Nene Agbe Na the fourth. Okay. Nene. All right. Nene Agbe Na the fourth. JPM divisional chief. I hope I got that one right. Okay. So Nene Lano Ochiami Sika Saki the third. Linguist to the paramountcy. And then Manye the second, the divisional queen mother. Yeah, Dom divisional queen mother, and Manye again. Koleki, deputy Maram, and Reverend and Mrs. Tete Agbomenya, Church of Pentecost district pastor, and WO1 retired William Asum Terlabi, not Padiki, no, Grace Padiko Terlabi, and Hannah Male Terlabi. Yeah, these are the names I have here. Thank you very much for coming to support the nominee. On this occasion, I would like to say that you have been discharged by the committee, and you hear from the committee. You are discharged.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.